Here we are in Grace's kitchen, and it is time to cook.
It is! Welcome back, everybody. You know this kitchen well by now, unless you're Steve, who did not cook my last dish. The only dish he has not cooked on the channel. Can you believe it?
Scandalous.
Scandalous.
Shout out for cooking, 12 dishes?
Yeah, seriously, Steve. Good effort. And hopefully you should be getting involved with this one because no cauliflower is involved in the making of this dish. No excuses. So I'm just going to dive straight in because my oven takes forever to heat up. So that is the first thing I'm going to do. Very important. You are going to want to put your oven extremely hot. We are talking 250. I'm even going to go a bit higher because it's a little bit cold, my oven, which is about 475 Fahrenheit, I think, if that's what you're working with. So yeah, the rest of this is going to be very relaxed. But that initial get your oven on is very important.
So everyone who's traumatized from last week's high pressure.
The high pressure cook marathon that's about to put it. No, it wasn't that bad actually, I don't think. But yeah, that's the most important thing. We've got that preheating and now we can relax and just do nothing for an hour. That's this dish.
Pop the kettle on.
Yeah, actually I'm going to pop the kettle on. We are going to make ourselves some tea. Would you like some tea?
I would love
Just
some
assuming.
tea.
Very good. Make yourselves a drink at home. Because we are going to have no shortage of time in this episode. The peppers take a fair while in the oven because you want to get them nice and blackened on the outside. And the rest of the things don't take that long to prep. So it's going to be a nice, slow-paced, having a chat kind of vibe. Hope everyone's ready for that. So let's just talk you through what you'll need to get out and ready. Baking sheet. This is what the peppers are going to be going on. I am actually going to line this with some baking paper this time, just to aid in cleanup. Basically, you can put it straight onto the baking sheet if you like. Some people say you shouldn't use baking paper when your oven is over like 200 or 450.
What's the reason for that?
As far as I can tell, just because it can scorch and go a bit brittle and brown, but there's no like risk of it catching fire. So don't worry, it doesn't matter if it goes a bit brittle. I'm going to use it anyway.
What are you doing this now and why? With the paper.
With the what?
With the paper, the scrunching. Is that key?
Oh, the scrunching. That's funny. That's just something I always do. I find it easier to like mold it. It like stays down easier. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, because it's pre-rolled, like the edges tend to curl up and stuff.
Sure.
But if you scrunch it up, it's a lot more pliable.
Nice.
I'm gonna say. So peppers.
You heard it here first, potentially.
Yes, pliable paper. I think probably all paper is pliable, isn't it? It's actually where that word comes from, I believe. Plier, to fold. Little language lesson there for you. Peppers are the easiest vegetable in the world to roast because you don't do anything with them.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. We're going to be taking the skin off, so you don't even need to wash them. You just pop them on the tray. I like to do them side down. Rather than sitting on their ends, because I find that the edge that's in contact with the tray gets kind of blackened more easily and you want more of that blackened skin. It actually makes it easier to skin the peppers at the end. So just pop them on the tray side down. This dish, I find it's important to roast peppers whole like this. For other dishes, you might want to cut them in half and de-seed them before you roast them. Because actually de-seeding these when they come out and are super hot is quite a pain. But when you do them whole, they produce all of this pepper juice, this really like strong, rich, sweet juice, which we're going to be adding to the sauce, so we do actually want it. So it's going to be a little bit more of an effort when they come out the oven, but for this dish I think it's worth it. So you're all going to have to do it too, I'm afraid. Tea. I'm going to make us some tea. What do you like? I've got some Orange and Sauber.
Orange Magic.
Orange Magic. Some Fortnum & Mason Royal Blend black tea.
Oh, I think I'm gonna go orange magic.
Yeah, let's make some orange magic. It feels kind of spring appropriate, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's feeling very springy and beautiful today in Berlin.
It's gorgeous. It's 15 degrees today.
It's just
and this
rejuvenating.
time last week it was... Were we in the minuses last week?
We were probably around minus 15 last week. It's been a bit crazy. I never know how much.
Nobody does.
No, good. I'm pleased to hear that. I always wondered if it was just me. Do you have this annoying one too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it all comes out the edges anyway.
I think that means too much.
Do you think so?
Perhaps.
I just squeeze it down. There we go. Lovely. I think this is going to go very nicely with the dish. I'm basing that on absolutely nothing.
What most things are based on.
Yeah. Super. We can set that to the side. So my oven also takes quite a long time to preheat, which is another reason that I was quite antsy to get it on straight away. Yours might be there already. If you're Seb, it might already be a furnace at this point. But I would encourage you to stick to when I put them in, because then it's easier for following the rest of the video, even if yours is already preheated. So we're going to get a few other bits out that we will need.
Get your bits out, folks.
Get your bits out right now. It's the perfect time for it. We're going to need some bowls.
How many bowls?
Many as you've got. No, we're going to need one for the sauce, one to put the peppers in once they've come out of the oven. You also want to have something to cover that bowl with when the peppers come out. I'm going to just use a plate so you can have that prepped. And then we're going to need one more than you'll need, because we're making this extra vegan sauce on the side.
Which I appreciate so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. This one has a bit of parmesan in it. It's not very vegan, is it? And one for the garlic bread mixture.
Okay.
Quite a few bowls, isn't it?
So we've got the bowl over there for the peppers.
Yeah, that's
bowl
just prepping for later.
3 peppers.
Yes,
and then over here we have 3 bowls, but you only need 2.
2, exactly. Get something out that you can zest a lemon with.
Great.
Hey! I also use this to do my garlic. Because I'm lazy. And it's easier.
Yeah, also easier to clean than a garlic press.
Yes, exactly, I find. So while we are waiting for that to preheat, we can, I guess, make a start on the prep. Let's get all my bits over here. So what shall we start with? Let's start with the garlic. So we might as well prep the garlic that we'll need for both the bread and the pasta dish in one fell swoop. Now in the pasta dish, I am going to put, I think, just 1 big clove. You might be aghast at that and be like, who puts just 1 clove of garlic in something?
I personally feel attacked, but...
Yes. Why?
I don't know. I'm always a more is more when it comes to garlic.
Shall I pop 2 in? I'll pop 2 in. The thing is, because the garlic bread is so garlicky.
Oh, of course, I forgot having double helpings of garlic.
But, you know, we don't need to impress anyone today. Also, some people might not be doing the garlic, but I'm going to put 2 in. 2 on the smaller side.
Nice.
And then we want 4 to go on our garlic bread. So how many is that in total, Georgia?
Such pressure. So 4 for the garlic bread, and then 1 or 2.
Exactly.
That's 5 or 6
Very
in
good.
total.
You know I'm only asking you because I couldn't figure it out. I'm sure that's true. I've got one quite fat one. He can be in the garlic bread. If you saw my picture on Instagram, you will notice another reason for me choosing to make garlic bread is because I have, quite frankly, too much garlic in my house right now.
Your garlic cup runneth over.
It does runneth over. I got a great big bag from the Asian supermarket, which is fabulous. But normally I like to have like my ginger and stuff in there as well. And there just ain't no space. So, new knives.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
When did you get them?
Just a couple of weeks back.
Oh.
This is a belated Christmas present from my mum. Shout
Nice.
out to Mama Mella. Yeah, it was actually exceedingly hard to find like a regular, well-priced knife block. It turned out. I'm just going to chuck these in.
Yeah,
I think most people's ovens will have reached the desired temp by now. What do you think?
I reckon so.
I feel mine's just abnormally slow. And quite honestly, if it's not quite there,
It'll
matter
get there.
too much.
So peppers are in.
Peppers are in. Quick look at the time. Okay. These are going to need about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on your oven temp, how efficient and effective it is. Like I said, mine is not overly effective and it's probably not preheated yet, so we might be more on the 40-minute side of things, which is perfectly fine. When you're making this without the video, you'll want to set the alarm on the peppers for like 4 to 5 minutes before they're done, because in that time we're going to add the walnuts to them right at the end of the cooking time, so that they toast and that they all come out ready at the same time.
Nice.
But following the video, you don't need to worry about that because I will be doing it for you. So we're going to prep the garlic. It's not very much work because, like I say, I'm going to grate them. So it's really just a matter of peeling.
Do we have
the little
time
cloves.
to chat while you grate your garlic?
I would say so, especially while I top and tail them. Everyone knows how to do that.
Something I learned about you and your family and cooking recently that I just need to know much more about.
What's that?
And that is your family recipe Excel spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet. So my family, we're all quite major foodies. And my brother recently started a spreadsheet. It's Corona times, you know. We've all got a bit more time on our hands.
Is he an accountant?
He is not, no. He is in fact a music producer, but loves a spreadsheet, does my brother. His tax spreadsheet is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. So he was realizing they're cooking a lot of new recipes at the moment, but it's hard to keep tabs on like what came out really well, what they really want to cook again, what was not so successful. So he decided to start an Excel spreadsheet where he would put the name of the dish. Crush that one a little bit too much. If the recipe was from a website, he would copy and paste the website that the recipe was from. And then they would put a mark out of 10 at the end for how much they enjoyed it. And he told us he had this, and I was like, wow, I want to get in on this. I want to see what you're eating, and I want to know which ones come out really well. I peeled my garlic. I'm just putting the skin in the bin.
Skin in the bin.
So we ended up, like most members of my family now, have a tab on this spreadsheet, and we all add what we've made each night and give it a score out of 10 so that other people can try it out.
I love this.
It's amazing. It's going really well. I'm going to pour our tea. Just realised that's probably brewed.
Any greatest hits from the spreadsheets?
Oh yeah,
all of the time to cook recipes.
All of the time to cook recipes. I mean, they are featuring heavily from my side because, you know, it's at least one of my meals every week, usually two, because I usually cook one myself. Look at this amazing pour. How fun is that? Comes out like a proper arc.
Beautiful.
Isn't that nice? It's my friend Charlotte's teapot she left to us. It's a Whittard. Does that mean anything? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing Whittard shops on the high street in the UK.
Yeah. Wonder if they're still in business.
Whoops.
Backed into the chair. Oh, it smells so zesty. There you go. I was going to say Guten Appetit. That's not really what you would say to tea.
My stepmom always says cheers with tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time.
That's cute. I like that. Shall we cheers with the tea?
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers with that tea. Cheers.
Cheers. Shout out to Roz.
Roz is a woman after my own heart. I like to make everything into a mini occasion, you know.
So we were talking about the spreadsheet.
Yes. Just
But you're also
quickly,
gonna
I'm
start
going
doing
to start prepping the garlic. We want to keep these separate just so we know how much, that we're using the right amounts for the 2 dishes. So I'm going to do the 2 for the sauce first over here, and then I'll do the 4 for the garlic bread that side.
Is there any preferred grating block side that you like for your
Oh
garlic
yes,
grating?
I use the smallest. So not this zesting side, which quite frankly, I never use. It doesn't even really work for zesting.
Thank you for being frank.
I need to be frank about this. Who uses this side? Let me know. It never works for me. So I use the smallest normal grating side. We're going to use that for the lemon zesting as well, because like I say, the other side just doesn't give me the results I want. You do have to get on up there to scrape it all out, but I'm fine with that. Okay, now we'll do the 4 for the garlic bread over here. Yeah, there have been some really good recipes from there that we've all shared. I mean, this one actually is a family favorite, not just a favorite of mine.
Who came up with it? So you all cook this recipe now?
Yes, I think like everyone has made it at least once in the... Ooh. This can be a little bit tricky. Your garlic gets quite slippery.
We couldn't see it happen.
Oh, really?
It was out in frame.
I could have just carried on like nothing happened. Yeah, and you do have to like be careful that you don't grate some nail into your dish.
I'm actually really bad for that.
Just recover the one that's fallen. Well, that was probably out of frame as well, wasn't it?
I don't think it was.
Oh, no. Okay, well, it's all fine. I think this was actually, my mum shared this recipe about 1.5 years ago or something. And I think it was actually a recipe card from one of the supermarkets in the UK. I should find out which one, because I should probably give them some credit for it.
Some credit.
I want to say Waitrose.
Ooh.
God, I miss British supermarkets.
They are good. I always forget.
Good.
Yeah. And then when I go home, I am reminded.
Yeah.
Although Rewe is pretty good here.
Rewe, I mean, I wax lyrical about Rewe quite a lot on this show. So you probably know my feelings about it already. Just love it so much.
I go there so occasionally that it's a treat every time.
Yeah. Okay, you'll be left with lots of annoying little garlicky bits all over your finger. So I'm going to wash that off. But as you can see, we now have a nice little pile of garlic for our garlic bread and a little smaller pile of garlic for our pasta sauce. One of the things I really love about this dish is how satisfying it is to prepare, actually. It's quite meditative in a way, because you just have to like get everything chopped up really small, and it's really fun.
It's already fragrant as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, I think that might partly be my baking sheet, which I cooked garlic bread on not that long ago. I don't think I washed it very well before I put it back in the oven.
I'm very close to this garlic.
Yes, that's true. There's just a lot of garlic going on. Annoying fly. So we can put... Don't wash this yet, because we're going to be using it for other things. We can put the garlic for the garlic bread using the back of my knife. Shout out to India. She was quite irate about cooks that scrape with the sharp end of their knife.
Oh yeah.
Can't say I'd ever really thought about it before, but now I have been put in my place.
So you are a reformed scraper?
I am a reformed scraper, yeah. What was I chatting about before I just did that?
British supermarkets. Oh, yeah. Waitrose?
That's where I think the recipe came from. That was the end of that story. A recipe card from Waitrose. But we've tweaked it a little bit. I think probably just by adding more of most things. That's usually how I tweak recipes. We're going to move on to zesting the lemon. We are going to wash this because that zest is going straight in our food. So give it a rinse. And a dry on a clean tea towel. I really want to do the thing Chris does of like having the tea towel constantly over his shoulder.
I feel like I now want to confide in you, like you're a bartender.
Oh right, I see. Well, that's good. Maybe definitely got a hair somewhere. Maybe I'll get more out of the friends that I'm cooking with if I have a tea towel on my shoulder. But I don't think it's going to stay on is the issue.
Instantly builds trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm going to use the same side of this grater, not the zester, to zest this lemon. I find, oh, that's okay actually. Depending on the firmness of the lemon, because my grater is not the sharpest, sometimes this doesn't zest so well. But seems to be doing well today, performing well for the camera. So I like to try and get every single little bit of zest off this lemon. But you don't want too much of the pith underneath the zest, so be careful not to go too deep into the lemon. Go deep into the park. Do you know that reference?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mighty Boosh. Smells so good.
It really does.
Just the mixture of garlic, lemon, and parsley is a very satisfying smell. Yeah, but some of the hits on the I've got a slightly gunky end to this lemon. It's got like white, what looks like it could be mold. So I'm going to just sub in a second lemon for the zest that I'm missing off that one.
Okay.
Hopefully your lemon does not have that problem.
But always good to have a backup lemon.
Always good to have backup lemons and backup avocados, as Wouter showed us.
So many avocados.
So many avocados.
Jeez, oh.
I can't finish this story. So one of the hits on the family food Excel spreadsheet has been another recipe from Olive magazine, which is actually where I got the cauliflower recipe from. Again, a tweaked version that I did on the channel last time. It's a great recipe resource. Really, really recommend it.
Olive magazine.
Olive magazine. It's yeah, just Google that and you'll find it. And it is a butter chicken pie with a naan bread crust.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That
you
sounds
know how
incredible.
good that's going to be already. It's amazing. This tea's still too hot to drink, isn't it? Yeah, that scored like 9.5 across the board. We do have some issues with the scoring system though, because my mum is a little bit too, oh, this is great, 10 with everything. And my brother's like, is this the best food I've ever eaten in my life? No, 7. So it can be, you have to know how the other people are scoring, you know.
So your mum is a very generous scorer.
She's a generous scorer, either that or she's the world's best cook and just everything she makes is a 10 out of 10, you know. Which could be true. Obviously, I think my mum's cooking is amazing. Don't we all? Well, maybe not all, but my mum's definitely the more creative cook between my mum and my dad.
Because it is a competition, after all.
Absolutely, of course it is. It's all a competition. So we now have a nice little pile
Smells
of our
so
yes zest. What was this bowl for? Oh, the vegan. Put the vegan to the side. The zest and the garlic, and we can pop that into our larger bowl where we're going to put all of our sauce ingredients. I just find it harder to scrape with the back of the knife, India. Jeez. It doesn't matter if there are bits left on the chopping board because we're going to be using it and putting it basically all in there anyway. So that's fine. What shall we do next? Chili. We'll do our chili. Gonna wash this as well because the skin will also be going in.
And the chili is optional, right?
Chili is totally optional. Yeah, I like the little kick that it gives. If you're looking at this being like, oh, that is a lot of chili. We are in Germany. This is not a very hot chili. I can tell you that right now. So if you have a hotter chili, you might not want to put as much in as I'm about to do. I'm just going to ring it.
Ring it.
Ring it. Cut it into small rings.
So you're keeping the seeds.
Yeah, I find they kind of naturally fall out. This knife's so sharp, it makes my stomach like kind of flip a little bit, just imagining. Because I've not like adjusted yet to cooking with sharp knives. I'm so used to using blunt ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's still in that danger phase. Yeah, I find the majority of the seeds kind of fall out. If you get a few in there, for our purposes, I think that's fine, because like I say, this chili is not very hot.
Mm-hmm.
What's your spice level tolerance?
I love it spicy.
Love it spicy?
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll go in with all of it. I should just check that it's not that hot.
But the
actually.
spice, it's not in the seeds, is it? It's in the whatever it is. What is it called? The stuff that they're attached to.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
The
I want to
this
say
is
like
just like a pepper. It's not hot at all. I might put a few chili flakes in there as well. Or maybe I'll just keep all the seeds in. What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be too spicy.
No. I'll just pop all the seeds in. It'll be fine. So the spice is in like I'm going to call it the seed ligament.
The seed ligament. I was going to call it a membrane, but I actually
Or
don't
that.
know what that means. But yeah, the part that connects the seed to the fruit, I guess.
Oh, interesting. I was not aware. I'm going to see if even the seeds are spicy.
This could be wrong. Please don't at us.
No, it's now fact. Oh yeah, the seeds have a little zhuzh to them.
A little zhuzh.
A little zhuzh. That's all we're going to get out of these. All right.
So I'll let you do this and then I'm going to ask you more questions.
That is now chopped. I'm going to chuck away the head and the butt. Ever since Lewis talked about carrot butts. I now use that for all my vegetable prep. I'm going to keep to the side just a few for sprinkling on top.
Oh, nice.
Because it looks nice. And chuck those right in.
Yeah, in instant occasion maker, a bit of garnish.
You've got to have a bit of garnish, especially if this is going to look attractive at the end, which is what we're going for after all. Yeah, so you see what I mean about like, it's quite fast, this dish. The prep is fast and the peppers are slow.
So we've already utilized 2 tips from previous cooks. So we've got the scraping.
Wash your chili hands.
Oh, wash your chili hands. Very important. Just a rinse.
I'm going to get some soap, but that lives down here because it's not pretty enough to keep on display.
Fair. So while we're washing our chili hands, we have, utilized the blunt side scraping, and also that tea towel is staying on gorgeously from
It's
Chris.
actually staying on.
Any other major tips that you've picked up from your previous
I've been
cooks?
learning loads. It's been great. Kyle had a great tip about mincing garlic, which sadly I couldn't employ here because I went for the lazy option. I should say though, it's not just the lazy option. Like in the case of the garlic bread, I find grating it, or you could even pestle and mortar it, gives it that more kind of gloopy texture, which then makes rubbing it into the bread easier, and kind of distributes better. I find like even if I mince it really fine, you still end up with very clear like little pieces of garlic that don't sort of spread as well. But she had a great tip about that because we've all kind of done the pressing down on the knife to skin the garlic, but she pressed down once the garlic was skinned, like really hard, and it sort of made the garlic splay into lots of teeny little fingers that you can then just chop up and mince really fine.
Oh, nice.
That's a very good tip.
Top tip from Kyle.
Top tip. But yeah, no, I've been learning lots from the other cooks. It's been really great. We're going to move on to the parsley, I think, because this can sometimes take quite a while to chop. I'm going to give it a wash, which is always kind of annoying because I never know how to dry it. Oh, that's hot water. Were you taught never to like cook with hot water or like use it for?
I don't think I was actually.
No. Okay, this is I think totally a myth that I was told as a child.
It wouldn't occur to me to use hot water.
No. I don't know if like for us it came out of a different like tank. I think that's what I was told. So it wasn't like fit for drinking or using in culinary purposes. So I'm gonna just get my kitchen really wet. I did this last time with the cauliflower dish by shaking this all about.
Soak your kitchen.
Soak your kitchen. If you have a better way to do this, do that. This is when I want one of those salad spinners. You know what, I'm actually gonna use some kitchen towel. I laugh because I use way too much kitchen towel. So here is evidence number 1 of me using kitchen towel unnecessarily.
Are we using the end?
I am. I'm really hoping we've got another one. Otherwise, oh, we've got loads.
Thank goodness.
Phew.
So the kitchen towel is not essential because you may have a more sophisticated way.
I disagree.
Drying.
Kitchen towel is always essential. No, it's not essential, of course, but I just don't trust you if you don't use it. Oh, come back. What's a lot of parsley?
It is a lot of parsley.
Potentially too much.
No such thing.
No, you shall see. All right, they're dry-ish. Oh no. Okay, so I don't really... How much of this do we want? I think we want a nice big handful for the sauce. If you are desperate to know what constitutes
How big is
my
that
big handful? My scales say it is 50 grams, so that's a lot, but it will be less when we de-leaf it. So if you did my cauliflower video, you will have seen my somewhat haphazard way of de-leafing parsley already. Kind of do that and then pick out the big stalks and leave in the little stalks because they are fine to eat, I find. Do you find?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I would sometimes use the big stalks as well, but you're not supposed to?
Oh, I don't know. You probably can. No, I feel like I should chuck them back in. I feel sorry for them. I just feel they, like... This is going to seem strange based on what I'm cooking right now.
Mm-hmm.
But parsley is not my favourite herb.
Oh, really?
No. Usually find it kind of like the dull herb. Poor parsley, sorry, I don't mean it.
It's not like its exotic cousin, the coriander.
Indeed. But there are certain dishes and uses in which it really shines. And I think with garlic, like that's a famous combination.
Mm-hmm.
Garlic is very rich, I find, in flavour, and parsley adds that much needed freshness.
Mm-hmm.
And is also supposed to neutralise the lingering garlic in your mouth.
Oh, really?
And on your breath a bit, yeah.
Only
That's
if you
what we were
have
told
them...
at Pizza Express in our training.
Oh, Pizza Express.
Pizza Express.
Are they still going?
I heard that they were closing down, but that was like a year ago, and I think they're still open at the moment.
Well, fortunately, there's been no nothing major event-wise that could have compromised their business.
They can do good takeaways though, I'm sure. So purely because I can't fit the sheer amount of parsley that I have here on one board and chop it all at the same time, I'm going to keep my parsleys separate. Although actually there's probably another reason, which is that for the sauce, I'm going to chop it fairly coarsely, not super fine. Whereas for the garlic bread, I do want it finer. So it makes sense to keep it separate too. So this is roughly how much parsley I have for the sauce. As you can see, it's like a big handful and then some.
Depends on the size of your hands.
That is very true. You'll have to bring it over and test it with my hands. That's the only way you'll know for sure. I've missed a couple of very big stalks.
But this is what you've got left over from what was, say, a 30-gram bunch with stalks.
It was like a 50-gram bunch with stalks.
Oh, 50-gram bunch with stalks.
So
yields a big handful.
A big handful. So yeah, I bunch it up, and then these knives are so good.
Sounds great.
Yeah, right. And then kind of bunch it up the other direction. It's a bit harder, especially when it's wet and sticky. And chop down there, but like I say, we want to keep it fairly coarse for the sauce. Rhymes. I didn't even plan it.
You're a poet and you didn't realise.
Hey. Do I think that's okay? I'm going to go a little bit finer. You don't really want like any leaves that are still full.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like your kidney beans, where it's like you want to know that it's parsley, but not too much.
But it shouldn't be in your veins.
Yeah.
So parsley's not your favourite, but it's perfect for this dish.
Yes, and the other dish I cooked, it's featured in both dishes so far. So maybe I need to stop saying that I don't like parsley.
Just accept it.
Just accept that I love parsley. There's a lot of like personal truths that you find it hard to accept, isn't there? Because you just think that's part of your personality.
Do you worry that people would find you boring?
If I say I like parsley, yeah, that's so vanilla, isn't it? To like parsley. To love parsley. All right, I think that is fine. You can take a look if you like.
Nice. Fine, but not too fine.
Yes.
Coarse, in fact.
Rough and coarse.
Ooh.
Very nice. I'm going to chuck it in.
What else is in there? Nothing.
Yeah, so this is the big bowl with our chili, garlic, lemon rind, and
looks so
now
good.
parsley. Mm-hmm.
And it smells amazing.
Oh, yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. Fabulous. Sniff it. Oh, yeah. Okay, and now, because we're on the parsley train, I'm going to do the...
All aboard.
What a boring train that would be. I'm going to do...
Where would it be going?
Oh, Skegness. I'm so sorry if you are from Skegness. Sure, it's lovely.
Have you ever been to Skegness?
Nope.
I think I have.
Is it's this like seaside, UK seaside resort?
I think it's
Wait,
a
I've watched
Butlins
this already.
place. You have watched this already.
Thank you for keeping an eye on what I'm doing. So I'm just going to do the same. Shed the leaves. This one has leaves quite low. It's difficult. Annoying.
What other, what herb would you like to be associated with?
Basil.
Basil?
Also kind of boring, I suppose, but...
Oh, I love basil.
I just love basil.
Mm-hmm.
Our very sad basil plant is right next to you at the moment, actually. It's not doing well.
Fewer discretion is advised.
Yeah. Oh, no. But it's still got a few leaves on it, so I can't quite bring myself to...
Do you repot your basil?
I don't. This one has some black spotty leaves, which I'm not too keen on. No, what I do is, because I heard that the reason that supermarket potted herbs don't tend to last very long is because there's simply too many plants in one pot.
Yeah, it's usually about 4, I think. Or you should divide it by 4.
Yes.
And repot.
So I simply pull out the little ones.
Mm-hmm.
Which usually don't yield very many leaves anyway, even if you leave them in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest flourishes, as you can see.
As we have seen, and we do not need to see again.
To be honest, it's hit and miss, that method. Sometimes it works, sometimes the whole thing dies within a few days. Who knows why? There's no rhyme or reason.
Our balcony basil survived well into the low temperatures. We were really surprised.
Really?
Yeah, it was the first to go, but we were saying earlier, I think, that today it's 15 degrees, but a week ago it was hovering around 0, dipping below as well.
Yeah.
Which finally killed off some of our balcony plants.
You're just waiting for them to die.
Yeah, but
Come on.
the mint has just started growing again.
Ooh, yeah,
And a
mint's
few
pretty
other
hardy.
things. Yeah.
Alrighty, I've de-stalked that. Just about. And then we're going to do the same, but we're going to chop it finer. Basically as fine as you can get it would be ideal.
a different method to the coarse cutting, or
starts off the same, as in like starts off by just bunching and cutting, but then because we want it super fine, we're going to go into that very sprayed, very satisfying, that you can only do if you've got a really sharp knife. So I've only just been able to start doing this. Hold the knife and
nice,
just work around. Make sure that your bowls are out of the way. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you have a blender, you could even blend this up with the garlic for the garlic bread.
Oh yeah.
That would produce a good result. But if you've got a good sharp knife, then this is perfectly fine. This is where my tea towel's gonna fail to cling on to my shoulder.
I don't know, it's holding on.
Holding on.
But for how long?
And it should start smelling like grass. And that's why parsley's a boring herb. Okay, I think that is just fine. Fine and fine.
Nice.
Yeah? So that yields a regular handful. Whatever size your hand is, it will be that size. Scrape all that into the garlic bread bowl. If you get a little bit of lemon rind in there, who cares? That's just going to be nicer. Okay. Try and get the parsley off my hands. So time-wise on the peppers. Oh. Time flies, doesn't it? What time are we on there?
44 minutes.
Yeah.
But we've also been recording a little bit longer.
Oh, wow. They're looking basically done.
Oh, nice.
So, what we're going to do is, we're going to take our walnuts. This is 80 grams, just in case you need to weigh that out now. And I think I'm going to remove my peppers. Yeah, so you can see the skin is nice and charred.
Nice.
And they're all puffed up at the moment because they're full of air, but they're gonna go down in here. So we're gonna pop them in the bowl that we prepared. Chuck the plate
picking
on.
them up from the stalks because they're cooler? Or?
Yes, exactly. They're still a bit hot, but then we're going to turn this down straight away to 200. I'm going to put it slightly higher than 200 because of my oven issues, and we're going to chuck the walnuts on there. If I had been paying closer attention to the time, I would have done what I said I was going to do, which is put them in for the last 4 minutes of the pasta, but we were having too much fun chatting, so I didn't. I'm going to put the pasta water on now because I have a very big pan. I find that for tagliatelle and fettuccine it's good to have lots and lots of boiling water, and for any pasta in general actually. So get plenty of water in there. This is going to require a lot of salting, I just realised. Does it need more? No, that's okay. And get it boiling. Put it on my biggest hob, just to speed that up.
Is the biggest hob your favourite hob?
It's actually not. Like my go-to hob is that one top right, because it's the easiest to light. Some of these are actually quite tricky and annoying to light. So those walnuts, we want to keep an eye on the time. They only want to be in there for about 3 or 4 minutes because they toast quite quickly.
And then you've not chopped the walnuts or anything? You've just
No, I chop them when they come out.
Okay.
I don't know why. That's just the way that I do it. I think they would burn very quickly if they went in too small. And B, once they're toasted, they break up really nicely when you chop them, so they're kind of easier to chop. So I'm just cleaning the side because we're going to move on to the garlic bread. Do we still? Yes, we still need. You'll still need your chopping board and knife, so you can just keep that to the side. But get everything else cleaned up. I've taken my recycling outside, so I'll chuck it there.
Just lob it down the
Just
hallway.
lob it around. We'll give this a quick wipe down.
Is this representative of your usual cooking cleanliness?
No.
I remember you telling me in week 2.
I make a right mess. That's how I enjoy cooking.
Best behaviour.
Yeah, that's right. Set an example. So, you're going to need another sheet of baking paper. We're doing the scrunch again.
Everybody do the scrunch.
Everybody do the scrunch. This is actually pretty important. We are also going to moisten it by running it under the tap a little. And squeeze it.
What does that do?
Because we're going to wrap the bread in it. This just helps it hold. Makes it more like kind of wax paper. Now we're going to take our trusty new roll of kitchen roll. Oh no, can never get the first sheet off. Just to dry that surface off. If you didn't make yours as wet as I did mine, then you might not have to do that. How long do you think those walnuts have had?
I would say 3 minutes.
Okay, then they're gonna come out now. What did I do with mine?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave them for 1 more minute. I think it's been about 2. Okay, we're gonna oil this now because that helps the bottom of the bread to also get nice and oily.
And for this, you're not using your primo olive oil.
No, this I'm just using my regular.
Guten.
It is still extra, but it's what I use to fry because it's not as expensive. More paper towel. You can also use your hands just to distribute the oil over the paper and the kitchen surface.
It's important that you get it on the surface.
Very important you get it on the surface. All right, bring on the bread.
I find it's quite intimate watching somebody cooking quite intently.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to take the walnuts out now. I think they are probably done. They smell real good. They are a little stuck to the pepper goo, but that is fine. Perfect. All right, we'll finish the bread first because we want to get that in the oven while everything else comes together.
That's the pepper goo there, for anyone who's curious. Looks like tarmac.
Yeah,
but it's not.
Gone a bit singed. So we've just placed the half baguette onto the baking paper, and we're now going to make incisions, basically the size that you would want a slice of garlic bread, about 2 centimeters probably. And you're going to cut down, but not all the way through. So about 2/3 of the way down. It's like, yes, we recognize this from the garlic bread that we buy already bought.
Yes. It's been such a long time since I made garlic bread.
Yeah, do you make yours too?
I used to, but I honestly haven't for years.
Yeah. There we go. Nice incisions. Then we already have our garlic and parsley mixed up. What we want to put in there. Again, because we're going to put this in the oven, I don't think it needs the expensive garlic bread, olive oil. I'm going to use this as a tablespoon. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil into there. And then season it with this little scoop I have is about a quarter teaspoon. A teaspoon. So a quarter teaspoon of salt.
How many twists of pepper?
Oh, did you know I started doing that after
Did you?
Yes, but I've lost count. Plenty of pepper. Mix it all up.
That's a lovely salt cup that you have there.
That's cute, isn't it? Yeah, it's purely because we don't have an actual salt dispenser, of course. And then, this is very satisfying, but also quite sexual. You gotta get into all the nooks and crannies.
Do you have the Righteous Brothers playing through your head as well?
I absolutely do right now. I'd really rather be alone for this, Georgia. If you could just leave the room, that would be great.
I do feel a bit like a voyeur.
It feels really good though.
And your partner's in the other room.
Yep, I know. It's not right.
So you rub it on top.
On top and into all the cracks.
Oh, this is good. I wouldn't have thought of doing this. I would just go straight into
the cracks.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I put it all over the top too. I feel like we could do with maybe a little bit more oil drizzled over. So make sure you get all the tasty gunk.
Does it matter if your bread is fresh or stale or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. This one's like a day old. So I guess we'll see how that comes out. I think I have generally used fresh bread before. Do your best at the end to get as much of the delicious parsley oil gunk that you can off your fingers, but it's not going to be hugely successful. So we do just have to accept we will need to wash a lot of it off. Yeah, but I think given that it gets well oiled and goes in the oven, then day-old bread is perfectly fine. Let's hope so anyway. Okay, and then we wrap up our little bread baby. Cute. It is cute.
It is cute.
And we pop him in the oven. I'm just going to put him straight on the rack because that's what's there. Basically.
And what temperature is that on?
That's on 200. We turned it down to 200 after the peppers came out. And that's going to be in there for 20 minutes, which gives us time to cook the pasta and finish up the sauce. Just clean this side down a little bit again. Wouldn't normally do it.
But the world is watching.
Yeah, got to set an example.
Except from Steve.
Yeah, just Steve, really.
Any other top tips you've picked up or anything that you found surprising from spying on all of your cooks?
Ooh, surprising. What's been surprising? I'm surprised about the level of knife care that all of my friends exhibit. This is largely what inspired me to get decent knives. I felt quite embarrassed, really, being the host of this and having such rubbish ones. But yeah, no, otherwise it's been just interesting largely to see that people do the same sort of tricks that I do, but also take the same sort of shortcuts that I tend to. Right, must focus, must chop walnuts. This is what we're doing now. So bring your chopping board back into play, tip your toasty walnuts onto it, and then pick off the ones that have got stuck in the pepper goo. This is what I mean about the parchment paper going a little bit brown and crispy.
So, but it would have been browner and crispier had you not scrunched it.
Oh no, that's just like cooking on that higher heat. Your parchment won't go brown and crispy. And now we are just going to roughly, also very satisfying. You can go really light on these because they kind of break because they've gone really brittle now that they're toasted. So just kind of go back and forth over them a good few times. And I think that's basically fine. You don't want any huge bits, but you also don't have to worry about it being super fine. And that goes into your bowl with all your other sauce ingredients.
Oh, it smells really good.
Mm-hmm. Right, now to bind this all together, we're going to get the liquid elements in there. So the olive oil and the pomegranate molasses.
The good stuff.
The good stuff. We're going in with 4 tablespoons, if I can get 4 tablespoons out of this, of your nice olive oil. We should just have enough.
The other olive oil's over there very offended.
I know, it might have to sub in if this doesn't stretch. Come on. That's pretty spot on, although I want it to overflow slightly. There you go, other olive oil. You've got your day. Oh, my overflowing garlic bowl, proving that there's too much garlic in it. And then 1 tablespoon of your pomegranate molasses.
So you did say that it's not that difficult to find the pomegranate molasses. Is there something else you could sub it for?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Maybe a balsamic or something?
Perhaps a balsamic, although it kind of want to give you a bit to taste and you can see what you think. Is this going to work? That's a lot. Taste that.
I don't think I can.
You can't? Should I feed it to you?
With my
romantically?
Okay. It started with garlic. Ooh. Oh, that is lovely.
Yeah. So it's like, it's quite a particular flavour that I'm not sure. Oh, do you know, I meant to leave some parsley to also garnish. I'm too late. This is not quite boiling yet, but it's close. Right, we are going to move on to our peppers. And this can go one of 2 ways.
What are the ways?
Really fine, but still a bit fiddly. Or really badly and very fiddly.
Fine like okay, not fine like thin.
It's all, yeah, fine like okay.
Okay.
Ideally, if you have the time, you would let these get much cooler before you try to handle them, because they're still very hot. But I don't have the time, so in we go. I might use something to pick them out. So they should have deflated a bit and the skin's gone nice and wrinkly, and this is all the pepper juice that I was talking about that we're gonna chuck in the sauce. So the skin should peel off quite nicely in sheets, but honestly it can be, like some peppers it comes off easy, and others, which it looks like this one might be one, is more fiddly. So perhaps I'll try, especially because it's hot, to use a knife. No, it's not working. Oh no. So generally the charred skin comes off a little easier, which is why the more charred you can get your peppers, the better. But often this isn't even the fiddly part, it's usually the seeds that I find worse.
Is this an indicator of how the seeds will be, do you think?
No, they're just always a pain, aren't they? I mean, even in like non-cooked piping hot peppers, seeds are a pain. But in roasted piping hot peppers, they are okay. We're going to cut in because the skin is being very annoying. And we'll get the seeds out maybe first. That's nice. If they come out in a chunk like that, that's quite handy. And then I tend to just sort of scrape the rest out. Honestly, if you end up with some seeds in there, it's not the end of the world. If you've used fresh chilies, you can just tell people that it's chili seeds. They'll be none the wiser. Yeah, so this skin is particularly
stubborn.
Particularly stubborn. And in this instance, I think I'm just going to say I don't care if we have some skin in there.
There are other things where you should care. This is something
where I'm choosing not really to care. Ideally, you should get all your skin off, but we're not living in an ideal world right now, are we?
That is the
Quite
truth.
frankly.
Potentially an understatement.
So just do as well as you can be bothered to do, basically.
Do your best.
Do your best. That's all you can do. This one seems a little better. Spoke too soon. I can't even, like, normally it all bunches up and you can
Do you think,
just feel it come away.
is it just the way of the particular pepper, or is there something different about the cooking that could have affected it?
I'm not usually trying to do them when they're this hot.
Okay.
Like, I do definitely recommend when you're cooking it next and on your own, that you give yourself time for them to cool a bit more fully. Because it will also mean that they're not too hot when they're going into the sauce and wilting the herbs. It's not as ideal. If you're trying to do this and you're like, ow, 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 this is awful and it's not coming off, pause the video. Ooh, see, that was a nice bit. Let them cool a bit longer and then press play and come back to us. But this one at least is a little bit, it's been a bit more successful than the first. And perhaps that is a trend that our third pepper will continue. But if you look in the bowl, you can see the juice that I was talking about. It comes out kind of thick and dark. And we like that. We're going to be putting it in with the sauce. So this
I think your pasta water is slowly getting there.
I think it is. We're going to try and time that with the garlic bread, so it'll go in a couple of minutes. This pasta takes about 5 to 6 minutes. Now that's what you want, you see.
Look at that.
Look at that. The good charred side comes off well. Ha!
Time to cook Danger Edition.
Yeah, right? Perhaps if you had like gloves. That would be a good option. That is fine.
Do try this at home, but as we say, you can
we
turn this off.
Telling you to try this at home.
Let things cool down and come back to it.
So we're going to put the dark peppery juice that has collected in there into our sauce. And then the semi-skinned peppers, we're just going to roughly chop up.
Semi-skimmed.
Semi-skinned. Semi-skimmed milk. Oh yeah, it's actually quite.
And you've got more juice coming out there as well.
Yeah, and that's all going to go in too. There's also juice on the plate that you will have been peeling them on, which if you can be bothered to strain the seeds out, you could also add that too.
Can we be bothered?
I can't be bothered. People at home might be bothered. And in it all goes. Oh yeah. Oh, I used the sharp end, didn't I? Never be forgiven. So give that a mix around. Oh my goodness, doesn't it look delicious?
It does. It smells incredible as well.
All right. I think now is the time to put our pasta on. It's going to be a hot lid. So it's going to be a watery lid. So you want to salt your pasta water well. Salty as the sea, Georgia, right?
Salty as the sea.
With this tiny scoop, that can take a while.
How much is that, do you reckon?
That would have been about 3 teaspoons so far.
So far.
Just testing it to see. I think that's okay. No, maybe another one. I mean, you're draining most of it out, so it just helps flavour the pasta.
When's the last time you tasted seawater?
Well, strangely enough, pasta's gone in.
The pasta is in.
This is going to be about 5 minutes. Maybe you could keep an eye on our little timer there and
I will.
if you can, and let me know when we're coming up on 5 minutes. Weirdly enough, I was in Greece last summer, and that seemed crazy. So that was when I was tasting a lot of sea. I just swallow it all. This is looking good, as you can see.
It is.
So we're gonna season, very important. We're gonna start with half a teaspoon, which is 2 of my little shovels, of salt. And 10 twists of pepper. Give it a good mix up. Give it a taste. That's very good. Oh, it's quite spicy actually. What a surprise. I'm going to put another 1/4 teaspoon of salt in. Bit of a salt fiend, but do it to taste. Like, try it. Just remember that with pasta sauces, you do generally want them over flavorful, because when they're stirred through the pasta, that always reduces the flavor by quite a lot. Now we are going to put roughly 1/3. Very bad at estimations like this. Do you think that's about 1/3?
1/3 of the
entire sauce.
Yeah, I would say so.
A bit more, just in case. Okay, because this is going to be our vegan sauce. Because the cheese.
The cheese, which does smell awesome.
I know, I'm so sorry. So I'm using the grater that I haven't washed because it's still got all the good stuff that is in the sauce anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I'm using the exact same fine grater side. You want to definitely grate this finely so that it sort of almost dissolves into the sauce. You also, if I'm honest, definitely want a bit more cheese to have on the table for people to sprinkle on, because who doesn't love that? Just gonna give my pasta a stir, make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan, but you want it on quite a nice rolling boil.
A rolling boil.
Quite a high boil, I would say. Mix all that cheese in. Oh yeah. And then, how's your gimbal hand doing?
It's good. I've switched hands.
Sometimes I find I'm gripping so tightly that it's quite uncomfortable. See, this is a little bit more like typical,
More representative.
what my
I appreciate the
kitchen
honesty.
tends to look like. It's because I got a bit surprised by how quickly time went, and was like, oh, there's no time to clean up. Clearly. Then we're going to experiment with our
Yeast flakes.
yeasty flakes. How much, as a seasoned vegan and yeast flake user, how much do you think I should pop in there?
A bit less than what you did with the cheese, I would say. Maybe
Oh,
just...
still quite a bit then, huh?
Honestly, I have no idea.
No, well, let's try it. So we'll start with 1 heaped teaspoon.
Because the thing that you get with the yeast flakes as well as that kind of supposed cheesy umami thing is there's also a bit of a kind of vinegary taste to it, I find.
Just realised this was the spoon that I had in my mouth. I do apologise.
Corona times.
I think it could take a bit more. I think it could take more yeast. Another heaped teaspoon. This one's been in my mouth, right? Yes, I can smell that in it now a bit more.
And if you don't have a spoon that's been in Grace's mouth, that's okay.
I don't know.
It's okay
It's not going
too.
to come out as well, I don't think.
It will be slightly different.
Yeah. It's a lose-lose situation now. I'm going to add just a tad more salt to that because I feel the parmesan adds saltiness that's not going to get from yeast. No, that's good. Like I say, it was going to be delicious even without the addition of the Hefeflocken, so completely optional. Right, it's all starting to happen. We've got about 3 minutes left on the garlic bread.
I think it's been about 5 minutes on the pasta.
And about 5, but ooh, sorry if I just burned you with splashing water. We're going to attempt to try the pasta without burning myself. Put your pasta on your baking tray, which is just next to it, so you can cool it off a little bit by swirling it around.
The fettuccine flap.
Oh yeah, that's... It's perfect. Stop right now.
Thank you very much.
I should have planned this a bit better, shouldn't I? I'm going to reserve some of the water by just dipping a cup in it.
That's how you reserve things.
Yeah. Hotel rooms, cars, everything.
Dip a cup in.
Taylor did a nice trick of like straining it and having a cup set up under the colander.
Oh, nice.
But quite honestly, I don't think I could manage that balancing out. So I find that easier. This is a large pan.
It is very big.
I'll use my colander to be another hand. And drain it out. So you can keep a little bit of the water. You don't have to be really strict about draining it totally dry. Bring it back over. Now, of course, we also want to separate this out, which you will not be having to do at home.
Oh, the pasta.
Because we want to stir the sauce through it. But a third is obviously going to be vegan.
Vegans are such a pain in the ass.
Right? Don't invite them for lunch. God. So again, I'm going to use my excellent... Where are my tongs? Guesstimation skills for what constitutes a third of this.
I've got that song in my head.
Oops.
Destination Unknown, but with guesstimation. It's got horns in it, you'd like it.
Looks a bit measly actually, doesn't it? Looks like I could have chucked a few more nests in there. But I think that is about a third. Well, you know what? Got garlic bread. Oops. All right.
So this is only if you're cooking two kind of different sauces,
This
basically.
is not something you will have to do. So the regular one is going into the main pan.
The camera is spinning wildly with excitement.
It should be. And the vegan little dish is going in there. And then they all get tossed together. I don't think I've ever done this with tongs before. I don't know why I decided to do that now. It's probably very bad for my hands.
Yeah. It does sound a little bit like your pan is screaming.
It does. So that's the level of sauciness
Nice.
that you're going for. Yeah, better to have more sauce than not enough with this dish. I think probably with most pasta dishes. So
It's really nice. You can see all the component parts.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think you probably could blitz this up as well if you wanted, but honestly, I quite like seeing the component parts with this one. Put stuff anywhere, because that's where we're at right now.
Here is
Just
fine.
put stuff anywhere.
And
Because
also
the garlic
put things
bread
here.
is now ready to come out
Oh.
of that hot oven. Grab your little bread parcel with some kind of heat protection on your hands. And let's just plate up one for the camera. You can use nice big pasta bowls, obviously. I'm going to use a plate because all of my nice big pasta bowls have chips in them. that is what we're dealing with. Oh, actually, that looks quite good a portion.
Generous.
Now that it's out of the pan. Look at that. So good. Sprinkle our little chili flakes on top.
It just keeps moving. It sort of might
Doesn't know what we want to look at. Right, careful unwrapping your garlic bread because there will be oil, hot oil, on the inside of the thing. And then, again, burning myself is just part of the course today. I'm going to cut off a few slices for the purposes of presentation, even though I should definitely be doing this on something else. It's very hot. There we go. Ha! It'll look nicer if those are separated, won't it? Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And I would always, because I'm a pepper fiend, garnish with some pepper.
Amazing.
Ta-da! Should we get it in the light? Ba, 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 ba. Should look like that.
That looks phenomenal.
And we're gonna eat it.
Yes.
Guten Appetit, everybody. I hope yours has come out just as well. Yeah, let me know what you think. Like I say, this is a massive favourite here, so I hope you enjoy it too. And we'll see you next week. Oh, thank you, Georgia, so much for being my camera lady today.
Thank you.
It's been incredible. We'll see you all next week for a new dish. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.